There was once a man named Job who lived in the land of Uz. He was a good man, honest, full of integrity, and he respected God and avoided evil. Job was also incredibly rich. He had thousands of animals, tons of servants, and 10 kids, 7 sons and 3 daughters. People looked up to him. He was the greatest man in the region. His kids loved to throw parties, taking turns hosting feasts in each other's homes. After the parties, Job would always offer sacrifices to God, just in case his children had done something wrong without realizing it. That's the kind of man Job was, always thinking about what's right. Now, one day something big was happening in heaven. The angels came to present themselves before God, and Satan showed up too. God asked him, "Where have you been?" Satan said, "Just walking around on earth, checking things out." Then God said, "Have you noticed my servant Job? There's no one like him. He's faithful, honest, and stays away from evil." Satan replied, "Of course he is. You've protected him, blessed him, made him rich. Take all that away and he'll curse you to your face." God said, "All right, everything he owns is in your hands. Just don't touch him." Then disaster struck. All in one day, messengers came running to Job. First, a servant said, "The oxen and donkeys were attacked and stolen, and the servants were killed." Then another rushed in. "Fire fell from the sky and burned up your sheep and shepherds." Then another, "Raiders stole your camels and killed more servants." And finally, the worst news. "Your sons and daughters were eating together when a storm came. The house collapsed, and they're all gone." Job stood up, tore his robe, shaved his head, and fell to the ground. But instead of yelling at God, he worshipped. He said, "I came into this world with nothing, and I'll leave with nothing. The Lord gave, and the Lord took away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Even after all that, Job didn't sin or blame God. Later, Satan came back to God, and God said, "Look at Job. He still holds on to his integrity." Satan said, "Skin for skin. A man will give everything to save his life. Hurt his body, and he'll curse you." God said, "Okay, do what you want with his health, but don't kill him." So Satan struck Job with terrible sores, from head to toe. Job sat in ashes, scraping himself with broken pottery. Then his wife said, "Why are you still holding on to your integrity? Just curse God and die." But Job said, "You're talking like a fool. Should we accept good from God and not trouble?" Even in this pain, Job didn't sin with his words. 3 of his friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, came to see him. When they saw how bad things were, they wept. They sat with him for 7 days in silence because his suffering was so deep. Eventually, Job spoke. He didn't curse God, but he wished he had never been born. He was heartbroken. His friends started talking. They tried to help, but didn't get it. They kept saying, "You must have done something wrong. God is just, so this has to be punishment." But Job defended himself. "I haven't done anything to deserve this," he said. "I just want to talk to God. I want to understand why this is happening." He had questions, doubts, and deep pain. But still, he never turned away from God. He said, "Even if he kills me, I'll still trust him. And I know that my Redeemer lives." Then a young man named Elihu spoke up. He was angry at both Job and the 3 friends. He reminded everyone that God is greater than we can understand, and that sometimes God speaks through pain to teach or guide us. Then, out of a storm, God himself answered. He didn't give Job direct answers. Instead, he asked questions. "Where were you when I created the earth? Can you command the morning? Do you understand how the stars move?" Job realized how small he was. He said, "I spoke without understanding. Now I see you clearly. I take back everything I said." God then spoke to Job's friends. He was not pleased with them. He said, "You didn't speak the truth about me like Job did. Take some animals, offer sacrifices, and Job will pray for you." They obeyed, and Job prayed. God accepted Job's prayer. Then, everything changed. God restored Job's fortunes. Actually, he doubled them. Job got back even more sheep, camels, oxen, and donkeys. He had 10 more children, 7 sons and 3 daughters. His daughters were the most beautiful in the land, and Job gave them an inheritance along with their brothers. He lived 140 more years, saw his family grow for 4 generations, and died old and full of life. So what can we learn from Job? Sometimes life doesn't make sense. Bad things happen to good people. But Job shows us that faith isn't about getting answers. It's about trusting God, even in the silence. God never left Job, even when it felt like he did. And in the end, Job's faith was stronger, deeper, and real.